Hey everybody, how are you all doing today? It is July 2nd, 2020, and this is an article that I want to get out to you all because I have been stressing very, very strongly how worried I am about this upcoming hurricane and wildfire season, and just any disasters, flooding, etc., that, are going to happen. We know they do every single year. And the effect of this CV-19 pandemic, how they're not going to be able to do some of the things that are extremely necessary to save lives during these type of disasters. And the whole thing is about the evacuations, things that should be able to be done before these disasters hit are not going to be able to be done up to the level that it was before. Now, do I believe they can do everything just like they did before? Of course they can. But they're going to use this CV-19 pandemic to tell you, well, we can't take care of you, we can't do this, we can't help you out there, all due to this so-called virus. Alright, let's get into this. This was published on Fox. It says, California now faces overlapping threats, CV and fire season. Sonoma County, California. After a dry winter, conditions appear ripe for wildland fires, and the pandemic will complicate the response. You've got to walk and chew gum at the same time, said Governor Gavin Newsom at his briefing on Wednesday. Wow, that's crazy. What a statement, Governor. I mean, that was just... I can't even have words for that. Newsom says there is no choice but to fight fire and disease simultaneously and aggressively. The hots are getting hotter, the dries are getting drier, the wets are getting wetter. There's a new reality, climate change, said Newsom. See, they have to continue to put that in there. They have to push their climate change agenda. The North Bay has especially been hit hard by wildfires in recent years. We're used to disasters. We're not used to pandemics. This isn't in our playbook, said Cindy Foreman, Battalion Chief for the Sonoma County Fire District. I think we have a lot of unknowns about the level the pandemic will be at when fire season hits. See how they are continuing to leave things wide open again. We don't know how bad it's going to be, so we don't know if we should be preparing like this or like that. They continue to talk about how everything that's going on and why everything is so hard to handle is due to the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen with the virus. We don't know this. We don't know that. They do that to always give themselves a back way out, so that they can say, well, look, we told you it was going to be unpredictable. That's why we were completely wrong, and all those people ended up getting trapped and dying. I mean, those are the type of stories that we're going to continue to hear.
Sheriff's Office!
During rescues from recent wildfires, no one worried about spreading germs.
Where you at?
Or whether they would catch something at the evacuation center.
I think we still have a lot of unknowns. At what level is the pandemic going to be at when fire season hits?
Fire agencies are thinking about COVID because this work doesn't lend itself to social distance on the lines or in the base camps, where big fires bring thousands of crews all bedding down in the same place.
During previous evacuations, no one had to worry about spreading infection or close contact at emergency centers. Those shelters are congregate living situations, much like our base camps. So how are we going to navigate this, post-Foreman? Firefighting doesn't lend itself to a physical distance on the lines or in base camps, where often hundreds, if not thousands, of crews all bed down in the same place.
eating in the same location. They're showering and getting resources and rest in one location. So this is a real challenge for us.
We need them all healthy and ready to go to these wildfires.
CAL FIRE's chief stood with Governor Newsom to talk about how California is adding new hands, new helicopters, new engines, and a new determination to keep fires from spreading, and COVID too.
If we keep fires small at the beginning with these extra resources that we're going to have, then we will protect the public and our firefighters.
You got to walk and chew gum at the same time.
To fight fire and disease simultaneously, evacuees might be put in hotels, or if that doesn't work,
putting in partitions and segregating appropriately, putting air cleaners and air purifiers in place.
Evacuation centers will be smaller and probably further away.
Where we could have evacuated somebody to a school gymnasium in the past or one of our community centers, it may require 3 or 4 school gymnasiums or 2 community centers.
And that emergency go bag needs a few additions.
Yes, we have one. I have one in every single vehicle and one at the house per person, one for each person. So if we have to run out the door and just grab that, they're very, very important. At California's fire stations, precautions have been in place since the start of the pandemic. Limited access, rotating crews, daily checks for fever and symptoms, and exhaustive sanitizing procedure. Okay, my question is, if they're going to try to do these fever checks, how are they possibly going to do that if they're fighting these fires? Would the temperatures be accurate? I don't see how they ever could, even if they were anywhere in the area. Now, I'm sure they're going to say, well, we'll do them at the beginning of the day before any, of our crew goes up. But you don't know when this is going to break out. You don't know when you're ever going to come back home from fighting these things. So none of this, seems plausible to me.
Fire stations are already taking precautions, limiting access, rotating crews, and checking for symptoms. But this environment is easier to control than the field. And fire, they know. Coronavirus, they don't.
We have a handbook for that, right? This one we don't have a playbook for.
To prevent devastation, agencies urge, while sheltering in place, make fire preparation part of home improvement.
Wednesday, CAL FIRE's chief stood with Newsom to talk about the addition of new personnel, helicopters, and engines, plus a new determination to keep fires and CV-19 from spreading. We need all of our firefighters healthy and ready to go to these wildfires, said Director Tom Porter. If we keep these fires small at the beginning with these extra resources we will protect the public and our firefighters. See right there too, that's another thing. Look at this. They're talking about how they're going to get these new personnel, helicopters, engines, etc. So that's where so much of our money, your taxpayers' money, is going into. So they're using this, CV-19 situation to now get all this new stuff that you paid for with your tax money, because they're telling you it's necessary to protect you. We gotta go spend all that money because we can't do things like we used to do. But in the field, the environment becomes more difficult to control. And while firefighters wear masks, riding 4 to an engine puts them within 6 feet of each other. It's near impossible and just something we're going to have to figure out, said Foreman, because CV is not going away overnight, and likely this will be on our plates for months to come. Listen to that. They are just feeding you the narrative. They are telling you what's going to happen, so you just go right along with their agenda. They're telling you it's near impossible to do it, which obviously it is, and them telling you, CV is not going away overnight. This will be on our plates for months to come. I love how no matter where you hear news, anywhere like this being reported, they always seem to know what is about to happen. They always seem to be 2 months, 3 months, 5 months ahead, knowing what is going to happen, which should obviously never be possible. while sheltering agencies urge residents to use their homebound time wisely for fire prevention and preparation, trimming vegetation, and making properties more resistant. Knowing that we're up against a pandemic, we're really pleading with everyone to be aware, be responsible, and let's get through this season unscathed, said Foreman. Oh wow, it's just crazy to me. But I am really, really worried about this. I am really worried about these hurricanes when they hit, the wildfires when they hit, and the way that they're talking, how they're going to have to split people up so much more and take them to such further distances, and I know that the homeless have to be terrified again, okay, because this is obviously a very easy way for them to push out the homeless. And they are just going to continue to say that, oh, well, we put them up in a shelter here, or we put them up in a hotel here, or we gave them a camper here, and nobody's going to know if that's true or not. I had already done a story on that probably about 2 or 3 months ago when they were talking about how they were going to put the homeless in separate campers and have the campers 6 feet apart to make sure that they, were okay through all of this and could, social distance. Does anybody believe that? They didn't care about them before. They were on the streets, they left them on the streets. Nobody cared. So why all of a sudden should we believe that the government cares about these homeless people? Everybody, I hope you have a good day. Just keep praying, keep pressing on. Don't allow this to drag you or your family down. Make sure you are not fearing this or panicking. Just know that in the end, we know the end. Jesus wins. There are no new chapters. So when you read that end of the Bible, that is exactly what is going to happen. So please pray and share this information, spread it with your family, share it with your friends, because one person reading this type of an article may save them if they become trapped or in the path of one of these disasters. Thank you all so much. We will talk to you real soon. God bless.